I want to welcome everybody to Cloud Run What's New. I'm Justin Mahood. I'm a product manager here in Google Cloud, and I work on Cloud Run. Cloud Run is Google Cloud's serverless runtime. It lets you run applications fast and securely in a fully managed environment. There's no infrastructure to pre-configure. There are no clusters to manage. And how do we do that? One is a focus on experience, a simple, idiomatic developer experience that automates as much for you as possible so that you can focus on writing code and delivering value for your business. Another way we do that is with a powerful runtime, a capable on-demand container runtime that is hyper-elastic, scaling way up and the whole way down to zero. And because Cloud Run is serverless, you only pay when your code is running. No flat fees or pre-provisioning. So today we're going to talk about some exciting new features that have come to Cloud Run. First, I'm going to walk you through new features that Cloud Run has introduced to continue to simplify application development. Got some exciting demos of some of those. And then I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Sridhar, who's going to talk about new features that make Cloud Run an even better fit for your enterprise. And then to cap it all off, Tim is here from DZ Bank to tell you how Cloud Run accelerated their developers. So let's talk about the new features of Cloud Run and how we continue to help simplify application development. First off, in public preview is volume mounts. Simply configure the volume, choose a mount point, and then read and write from the file system with ease. It supports NFS volumes and cloud storage buckets with GCS views. The key thing here is that there's no need to customize your container image or change your runtime. Just read and write from the file system from your code. Let us handle the details. Announcing automatic base image security updates. This is currently in private testing and coming soon to public preview. This is backed by 10 years of operational experience running automatic updates for both App Engine and Cloud Functions. We're bringing this capability to container deployments in Cloud Run for the first time. Keep your containers secure with zero downtime and zero need to rebuild. Google will update the base layers of your deployed containers with a target of less than 48 hours responding to security incidents and CVEs. Now, many of you know that when you deploy a Cloud Run service, you get a publicly accessible HTTPS endpoint by default at the run.app domain. But that URL is semi-random today. Well, we've heard your feedback, and by popular demand, we're making these URLs deterministic based on your service, your project, and your region. And if you don't want the run.app URL, you can completely disable it with a single flag when you run gcloud run deploy. And let's talk about Gemini. So Cloud Run has long offered recommendations. But now, with the power of Gemini, we can take those recommendations to the next level. We can surface cost, performance, and configuration recommendations proactively and in response to queries in chat with Gemini. And the benefit of having Gemini here is that it can aggregate those recommendations so that they can have the most impact. They're easily summarized, and you can understand what the total impact those recommendations will have altogether. And now one I'm really excited about. Your applications typically have users all over the globe, but Cloud Run services to date have been regional. So we're introducing proper multi-region services. With a single command, the one you're familiar with, deploy the same simple Cloud Run service to any number of regions of your choice. You can also, with a single flag, automatically configure a global custom domain endpoint, which will automatically route requests to the region closest to your customers. I'm really excited about this. I want to show you a demo. Let's hop over here and unlock my computer. There we go. Can everybody see that? Perfect. OK, we're going to start with a terminal demo. And so I've written and deployed the world's simplest Cloud Run service. All it does is return the region that it's currently running in. And I deployed it right before this session. So I'm going to go ahead and curl this regular old Cloud Run service. And you can say, it just says, hello from US West 1. This is a regular old regional Cloud Run service. But, and this is how I deployed it. gcloud run deploy, gave it an image. But now I can actually add additional regions, and making a multi-regional service is just as easy. as adding a couple of other things here and hitting enter. But I don't think that's really exciting enough to demo, so 2 regions is not that interesting. Let's go bigger. I've actually made a list of a region in every continent, except for Antarctica. Sorry, Antarctica, we don't have GCP there yet. But I am going to go ahead and cat all of those regions and do an around-the-world deployment. And with this single suffix that I mentioned earlier, give it a globally load-balanced domain. Let's go ahead and deploy. Oh, no. Well, of course, demo gremlins being what they are, let's give this a try. Here. And this is going to go ahead and spin that up. And with the power and magic of having set up a second one previously, you can see this is actually going to deploy pretty quickly. Let's see if I can go ahead and spin that up. You'll see these coming up. Yeah, you can see each of these deploying to each of their respective regions. I'm going to jump back here, and I'm running this demo from Cloud Workstations. This one happens to be in US Central 1. And so when I curl this globally load-balanced domain, it's going to route me to the closest region that I configured. So you can see hello from US West 1. Now I'm going to hop over to another Cloud Workstation that I set up, which is in Europe. This is in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. And I'm going to curl that same endpoint, multi-region cloudrundemo.com. And you're going to see hello from Europe West 4. So single command, Cloud Run service around the world, automatically configured external application load balancer with routing to the closest region. So I'm going to hop back to the slides. Slides? Perfect. We talked about a lot of things Cloud Run is doing to simplify application development. One of the things that we've recognized over time is that no application is just a container. Right? Any real workload has external dependencies, databases, third-party managed APIs, infrastructure like load balancers, VPC configuration. And we wanted to make sure that that has the same simple and idiomatic experience that you've come to expect from Cloud Run. So a little over a year ago, we launched Cloud Run integrations. The idea was to bring that idiomatic one-click experience that you've come to expect for complex integrations and automatically configure the infrastructure as well as Cloud Run for you. Well, a couple of announcements here. We've got 3 new integrations in preview as of last week. This is Cloud SQL, Firestore, and Vertex AI, generative AI APIs. Integrations were really just the first step. At the beginning of any project, as you're kind of sketching out what it is that you're going to build, it often takes the form of drawing some kind of architecture diagram on a whiteboard. Here's my microservices. They're going to connect to this database. Here's how the networking is likely going to be wired together. But then, whenever you go to make a proof of concept or take this to production, it's a lot more complex than just drawing that diagram on the whiteboard. But what if it didn't have to be? And so I'm going to introduce the Cloud Run application canvas. This gives you the simplicity of creating complex applications in just a few clicks. This is Cloud Run services, multiple integrations all together, and visualize it in a diagram. These are deployable out of the box, and we take care of the details. And to top that off, we also have Gemini that will let you describe the architecture you want in natural language and have it propose a draft for you. Let me show you how this works. OK, we got it. Here we go. This is the Cloud Run application canvas. You access it right from the Cloud Run homepage. As you can see, this is empty. I'm starting with nothing. And it's just as easy as dropping a couple of nodes into the canvas. They come with names automatically. And let's say I want to add a database here as well, Cloud SQL. And I want to connect this one to Cloud SQL. And so you can see, just with a couple of clicks, in purely draft mode, I've enabled no APIs. I've had to set up no permissions. I can sort of iterate and craft the architecture that I'm interested in deploying. But I want to show you something a little fancier than that. So this is where Gemini comes into play. Using natural language and intent, Gemini can help propose fully deployable applications from the app canvas. I'm going to paste in a prompt that I was talking about earlier. So every year I struggle to think of what's the theme of the birthday party I'm going to have for my 2 kids. They both have summer birthdays. And so I want a web app that uses an LLM to generate birthday party ideas. And I want that app to save those ideas in a database so that later I can share them with my spouse as we're preparing. So I'm going to go ahead and click Update Config. And you can see that Gemini has proposed a draft architecture. It's a Cloud Run service. Great choice. And that's connected to Vertex Generative AI for the LLM component and Cloud SQL for the database. Cloud SQL is maybe a little heavyweight for this particular use case, so I'm going to ask Gemini to replace this with Firestore. Swap. Replace Cloud SQL with Firestore. Boom. And you can see here I could go and further customize the pieces that have been dropped into the canvas. But I'm going to go ahead and review the deployment. And this is where the service behind the canvas is going to see if there's any APIs that I need to enable to deploy this architecture and make sure that I and the service account that we'll be deploying has the requisite roles and permissions to create this architecture. If it doesn't, there's a one-click operation to make that happen. It also gives you a summary of what the changes are that you're going to be deploying so that you understand what's going to happen before you hit go. I'm going to go ahead and click deploy. And this is going to be off to the races, but again, rather than wait for the database to provision, in the interest of time, I'm going to, through the magic of having a second one, I'm going to pop over here and show you what it looks like whenever it completes. And you can see, not only do we deploy the infrastructure so that you've got a baseline of your architecture you can now deploy your code into, we actually have wired up various components for you. So you can see here in Firestore, the Firestore database has been created. And the following environment variable has been mapped back into my Cloud Run service so that I know which endpoint to go and access. Likewise, the Vertex Generative AI gives me suggestions and documentation I can reach out to use the SDK and a link to the Generative AI Studio. But I have a pretty good idea of what it is that I want to deploy, so I'm going to hop over here. You can see I've got a pretty simple Node.js app. I'm just using the Google Cloud SDKs. They were really easy to find on the documentation page. And you'll see that I'm using that Firestore DB name environment variable that I just called out. I go ahead and, one command deploy from source code to gcloud run deploy. Whoops. All right. And that's going to be going. And you can see that this is Cloud Run's bread and butter. Taking your code, one command, build it into a container and deploy it, except this time it's deploying it into a pre-configured application that was provisioned by the application canvas. So now I'm going to hop over here to the deployed application, and we'll go ahead and pull that up. And you can see if it loads. Birthday party idea generator, so I'm going to put in the idea for Matthew's 7th birthday party. And let's see what Gemini is going to come up with. Oh, Space Explorer Party. This is a good one. I'm going to go ahead and choose to save that. And this is going to get saved off to Firestore. And you can see over here in Firestore that the plumbing is all working. The thing that was deployed in the canvas just works end to end. And so this is a live link right to that Firestore database. So there you go. You've got a fully deployed application prototyped and crafted in the canvas, the code deployed in one command via Cloud Run. And one other thing I want to leave you with is, applications are never done. Architectures are rarely ever finished. They iterate over time. They evolve. So one thing that the canvas lets you do is, even after something is deployed, continue to modify it. So in this case, I want to add a custom domain. Maybe I'm expecting a ton of traffic for this birthday idea generator. It made it on Hacker News. So I'm going to go ahead and add a birthdayIdeas.com. I want to map that to service 1. And now I've got a draft global external application load balancer with a URL map directly to that service. And if I want to go ahead and deploy it, again, the Compute Engine API is not enabled. Thanks, Canvas. Go ahead and do that. And let's grant those permissions to my deployment service account. And apparently my IAM policy is out of sync, so we'll give that a second. I may be hitting a race condition. We're waiting on that to go. Good to go. Perfect. But the fact that this is presented in such a clean way, saves a ton of time in troubleshooting and deployment pipelines down the line. I know exactly what is necessary to actually make it work. And jump back to the slides. I think we're going to wait for the API enablement to time out. So anyway, I'm really excited to show off just a few of the things that the application canvas can do. I'm really looking forward to what you all can do, and that comes to public preview here very shortly. Now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Sridhar, who's going to talk about all the new features that make Cloud Run a great fit for your enterprise.
Awesome. Hello. Hi. I'm Sridhar. I'm an engineering manager at Cloud Run, and I'm here to talk about why Cloud Run is such an amazing fit for the enterprise. So Cloud Run, right? Justin's given these amazing demos. It's really nice. Who here understands containers? Yep. All the hands, everyone. You all love containers. That's why you're here. With Cloud Run, you have a container image. You give that to us, and we take care of the rest. Right? It's super simple. It's easy. You've seen the demos. But let's say you're a large enterprise. Large enterprises have unique needs. You've got lots of teams, each with different responsibilities, right? And you care about developer velocity, but you also care about security, right? That run.app URL. Can you manage that? How do you set security perimeters? How do you manage access controls? How do you scale? You've got deployments that are in on-premises installations. These have been working. They've been working for years, 10 years, 15 years. How do you bring that to a cloud-native containerized workload? Will that actually work? Your legal compliance teams are like, hey, look, this is great. Your developers can move really fast, but will this be compliant? Like, will it follow the law? And what we've found after working with a lot of our customers is that Cloud Run is an amazing fit for all of these workloads. Let me tell you why. Cloud Run is secure. You can use IAM, VPCSC, or Identity Aware Proxy, multiple ways to secure your workloads. You can put login pages in front of Cloud Run. Encryption is obviously very important. And the key, well, it's the key, right? Sorry. And with Cloud Run, we support customer-managed encryption keys so you retain control. And we integrate with Secrets Manager. And so it's extremely simple. The same level of simplicity that you see with the developer workflow is also available for every other team while you are managing these services. When it comes to network security, you have defense in depth, multiple options to set the right kind of security boundaries that you need to have. And we've all seen that this software supply chain is really important. And what we do is we give you insights into your software supply chain in the console. And as Justin showed, we'll go one better. You use our images, and we automatically update them. And as you can see, we have a raft of compliance and certifications that will let you have peace of mind. So overall, Cloud Run, it's built by Google. It's built on Google infrastructure. And it's secure. You get peace of mind. But that's not all, right? Is it cost effective? Like, I'm sure everyone loves that it scales down, it goes to 0, but what about unbounded scaling? Like, can you limit how much it scales? And yes, you can use max instances, and you can set a ceiling for your scaling. For all of your larger workloads, we recommend that you use always-on CPU. It's priced 25% lower than throttle CPU. It's much more economical for your large-scale workloads. And if you're a large organization, you probably have more than one team. I'm going to guess, right? And all of these teams are going to have workloads distributed across the world. They're going to scale up, down. With Cloud Run, you don't need to predict how one workload is going to do. It will handle all of that. But you can probably guess how much capacity you're going to need over the course of a year for a large pool of workloads. And if you can do that, we give you committed usage discounts that offer a 17% reduction in cost. What this all adds up to is that Cloud Run is very cost-effective at scale. And on top of that, we have Active Assist. So we'll give you recommendations so that you can optimize your systems. So that's great. We're done. Cloud Run is secure. It's cost-effective. That's awesome. But that's not all, right? It has to work with what you already have. It has to work with the systems that are in your existing architectures. And for that, I'm very happy to announce the GA of Direct VPC Egress for Cloud Run. This has been a bit of a journey. Now, some of you might be wondering, okay, why is this? What is this thing? Why is it important? Cloud Run scales up and down really fast. And we build it on top of Google infrastructure that a lot of other Google products use, which allows us to move really fast. It allows us to build this very scalable product. However, that also comes with some trade-offs, and one of those was that we were not integrated with the VPC fabric that you get normally with GKE and VMs and all of those. And so you had to use this thing called a VPC access connector, which was not fun, right? You configured this thing, and it's just a pile of VMs hiding there, and then it doesn't scale down, and then that's not serverless. That's really not serverless. It's not fun. And we heard your feedback. And so we worked with teams across Google to integrate Cloud Run with your VPC. All you have to do is you give us a subnet, you give us a network, and a few network tags, and your Cloud Run service is now on the VPC without any VPC access connectors. It's much more performant than VPC access connectors. It's 2x the throughput, lower latency and lower cost. You don't pay for any VMs. You just pay for the traffic. Every instance in your Cloud Run service gets an IP on the VPC. It's compatible with support in all of the Cloud Run regions, and we also heard your feedback. It works with everything else in GCP. Cloud NAT, VPC flow logs. You get really good observability now because each service can be identified in the VPC flow logs. Whereas before, you share a connector across a bunch of services, you couldn't really tell what was happening where and what traffic was going where. And another thing we heard as part of our preview was, hey, that limit you had of 100 instances, we don't like that. We need to scale up a lot more. And so that's just a quota now. Just ask for how many ever instances you need, and we'll give that to you. But we didn't stop there. Once you have better networking, you're going to want to bring in more connected workloads. And you're going to want to do things other than just Cloud Run, right? You don't want just Cloud Run services. You're going to have workloads in VMs. You're going to have workloads on GKE. And so I'm really happy to announce that Cloud Run now has support for Cloud Service Mesh. What this means is that now you just have services. You do not worry about, is this a Cloud Run service? Is this a VM service? Is this a GKE service? It's just a service. Very simple traffic management across all your services. Simple observability across all of your services. It's consistent across all of your services, your heterogeneous compute. And it also solves a few, shall I say, wrinkles that we have with Cloud Run connectivity right now. If any of you have tried connecting to a Cloud Run service with service-to-service authentication, you know that you have to go and talk to the metadata server, grab a token, get a jot, put that in the request, send it out. That's a bunch of work, right? And if you have 10, 20 product teams who are kind of each of them doing this, that's friction. And at Cloud Run, we're all about just removing all of this friction so that your teams can iterate very fast. And with Cloud Service Mesh, we automatically handle all of that. The security is transparent. You can set your policies using IAM. You can manage your access. And Cloud Service Mesh will automatically set up the authorization and authentication for it. So let's bring this all together, right? Let's say that you've got something in an on-premises system. What you can do is connect to your shared VPC using VPN or interconnect, and you can manage all of your VPC resources in the shared VPC. You then have some very nice patterns that you can use for ingress, for example. You can put an internal load balancer in front of it, and then you have a choice. You can either use the deterministic URLs that Jason talked about. You can just disable the Cloud Run URL and enforce that all ingress happens only through the load balancer. Or you can use service mesh. And then for egress, now you have direct VPC egress. So you can talk to your Cloud SQL instances. You can talk to anything else on the VPC. It is transparent. It is fast. It works really well. So I can go on and on and on about this. I get excited. I keep talking. But what you might like to hear is from someone who's actually taken that journey from an on-premises system to a cloud-native containerized environment. And so I'm really, really happy to invite Tim over to talk to you about that journey.
Thank you. Hello all. Yeah, my name is Tim Harpe. I'm working at DZ Bank in Germany for now than 3 years. I'm part of the cloud platform team, and my main focus is cloud automation, IAM, network security, and cloud onboarding if someone wants to do his first steps in Google Cloud. Yeah, first of all, we want to talk about the company, who we are, to get in context, and then what we did in the last 4 years to migrating to Google Cloud. Yeah, so DZ Bank Group is the second largest bank in Germany with a total assets than more than $600 billion. We have 33,000 employees, and DZ Bank AG, which is the mother of the company, has 5,500 employees. We are the central institute for all the Volks- and Raiffeisenbanken in Germany, which are the branches in Germany, and our headquarters is in Frankfurt. Now we want to talk about the last 4 years, what we achieved, and these are only the highlights, what we did. So in 2020, we started building our landing zone and turned them productive. 1 year later, we migrated our newly completely cloud-native developed market risk platform, which named Harissa, on GKE and turned them productive. Harissa itself won the customer award in the category Financial Services in 2023 for the reason cloud-native, scalable, and modern architecture on GKE. Harissa itself was automated and FinOps optimized from scratch. And one example we want to share with you is once we changed in our IAC code the machine type in the node pool, we were able to reduce the cost by more than 10% to the next month. So very impressive, and on-premise that wouldn't be possible. Another thing we want to mention is every bank in Germany must submit a risk figure to the European Central Bank so that they can assess the risk of the banking system in the European Union. And on 2020, at Christmas, the regulatory want to know the risk number in 3 months. So we had a problem. So that was very hard to calculate, and we did not have enough compute power to do that. So we requested more than 3,000 cores at Google Cloud in our node pool to scale our application, and we were able to calculate this risk in the given time window easily within 5 hours. On-premise, that wouldn't be possible, and we are very happy about these features or these possibilities on Google Cloud. Yeah, 1 year later, we migrated our custom data lake called Flake to BigQuery and turned them productive. And in 2023, which is highlighted red here, we built our new ESG application on Cloud Run and Cloud SQL and turned them productive. In the next slide, we will talk about the architecture in the detail. Yeah. The plans for this year is to migrate our internal developer platform from on-premise to Google Cloud on cloud workstations. Yeah, now let's talk about Cloud Run and the use case ESG data, which we decided to build it on Cloud Run because it's a simple and managed platform. In front of this Cloud Run application, we put an HTTPS load balancer, an internal HTTPS load balancer, which automatically connects to our internal certificate authority to automatically issue our certificates and renew them. As database, we choose Cloud SQL because it has a good integration in Cloud Run, Sridhar already mentioned, and for that we use an HA database cluster and only internal IP addresses. So the Cloud Run application only can access the SQL database via the VPC. As secret manager, we choose Google Cloud Secret Manager to store some secrets like database, passwords, etc. Cloud Run itself, or the application, connects to our custom data lake. We mentioned a slide before, to fetch some data like company data, ESG criteria, etc., to calculate the score for our credit process. When we talk about security and compliance, our application was completely new developed and containerized. And with the good integration in the other Google products, it was very easy to deploy. For the encryption, we are using CMAC keys. For the SQL database, the Cloud Run application, the secret manager, is everything working out of the box. Yeah, we are using symmetric encryption. And for API controls, so we are using VPC service controls to protect the Google APIs from the internet. So no one can modify our application outside our perimeter. As ingress control, Sridhar already mentioned, we are using internal only in HTTPS load balancers, so only the traffic which comes from the internal load balancer can access the Cloud Run application in our VPC. As egress control, we are using route all traffic to the VPC. So we configured a new direct egress feature, which we tested together with Google 1 year before it went general available. When we talk about IAM, all of our service accounts which are connected to Cloud Run and Cloud SQL are running with least privileged approach. Yeah, let's talk about 70% toil reduction. So Cloud Run itself eliminates the need of provision, manage, and scale servers. Now our administrators and developers can focus on writing, deploying code, and do or improve the automation in our pipelines. No one needs to manage any workload manually anymore, and the Google Cloud platform handles all the dependencies in the tech stack between Cloud Run, Secret Manager, and SQL. It's very good integrated, and we are very happy about that integrations. When we're talking about cost savings, we achieved 90% cost savings, which is very unbelievable. That's only possible because because Cloud Run is paid per use, and our application scales to 0. So this application is only accessed during the business hours. So on weekends, it costs nothing. The application easily scales up and down based on the traffic, and the administrators now can focus on higher value tasks like instead of managing the servers or maintaining them anymore. Yeah, in the last slide, we want to tell you 3 things we learned during this migration. So Cloud Run gives us the opportunity to innovate and iterate quickly within regulatory and compliance constraints. Easy, automated first, and with managed services, reduce toil and gives our team the gift of time. And efficient, a serverless mindset enables us cost savings and easy scalability. And now, back to Justin.
Thank you so much, Tim. It's awesome to see, we talk a lot about migrations and what serverless can do for your business, and it's awesome to see a proof point of somebody who's had a successful migration and is so excited they want to come and tell you all about it. So, but to sum things up, Cloud Run continues to focus on delivering new features to simplify the experience of application developers, including multi-regional deployments, the application canvas, or apparently today's sleeper hit, being able to disable the run.app URL. But also, it's ready for the enterprise with built-in security and easy integration with existing systems. Cloud Run can reduce toil and the cost of even the most demanding enterprise workloads. Thank you all for coming today.